The college football semifinals have arrived, James. Thursday and Friday, we got two big games. If you have not already, make sure you are subscribed here to Big Game Energy, as we are going to be breaking down all of the college football playoff games, and we will be doing a live stream for the Natty, so make sure you are locked in for that. James, we'll start with the Thursday night game. Miami is taking on Ole Miss. Miami is a 3.5 point favorite, sorry. James, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, no, this is going to be an exciting one for this game to be in Glendale, Arizona. So, no real home field advantage for either teams. That's what I like about the semifinals on both locations. No real home field advantage. I am going to be a little biased. I'm going to side with the Hurricanes with the 3.5, just because one, their defense has been leading this ship, and they got the two edge rushers. And the one thing I'm only worried about with the defense is if Ole Miss decides to go up tempo. I know with Miami it was a great advantage versus Ohio State because they like to play at a slower pace. But you have Carson Beck, who's been in this situation before. You have Mario Cristobal, who's a former alum at Miami. I'll say this: Fletcher, the running back, has been a dog to been reckoned with. I don't know what cocaine Michael Irvin has them boys snorting, but they got it rolling. And if I want to see another belt to ass celebration from Michael Irvin this upcoming Thursday, guess what? I got to roll with the Canes. And it pains me to say this, but Spence, if you remember, I did a video of teams who were not going to win at all, and I put Miami in that top 10 because I didn't believe in Carson Beck. So they might make me be eating crow. And for a guy who has the Hurricanes logo tattooed on his leg,
True.
I'm gonna be getting roasted. But no, I like the Hurricanes in this game. I will say this: Ole Miss, as much as I want to say this is a Cinderella story with everything with Lane Kiffin, everything with Pete Golden, everything with the coaching staff, and then these players coming together, re-signing deals, leaving, this and that. I feel like all the emotions were all let out on that Georgia game. I know they beaten Georgia last year, but it's something about, you get that emotional win, you get that monkey off your back, and then it's like, okay, was that really their championship game? A game in New Orleans versus Georgia, the powerhouse of the SEC since basically 2021. Can they do it two more times? And that's versus Miami versus whoever is coming out of that Big Ten semifinals. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. It's going to be a fun one, and I hope there's a ton of fans in Glendale, Arizona.
I'm with you. I'm going Miami also. Part of it is, you mentioned the defense. The defense is unbelievable for Miami. I said that we were talking about Miami at the very beginning of the season, how they were looking like they were the best team in the country. They obviously stumbled and fell throughout the season, had some very, very bad losses, but they have refound that form at the perfect time. And I think this defense, led by who I think is going to be a top 3 pick, Ruben Bain, along with their run game, I think you mentioned it. It's fair not to believe in Carson Beck, but I don't think Miami is going to put Carson Beck in a situation where he's going to have to do a whole lot. Now, if Trinidad Chambliss comes out and he's dealing and he's throwing the rock around, yeah, they're going to have to put the ball in Carson Beck's hand, and he's going to have to make something happen. That's going to be Ole Miss's path to victory. But I think Miami's going to control this game. They're going to control the tempo of this game. We're going to pound the rock. And if that defense forces at least 1 or 2 turnovers, I don't see how Ole Miss can win this game. The Cinderella story has been awesome. It's been so much fun to see Ole Miss after all the Lane Kiffin drama. It's fun to see them get these wins in the playoff. And it's interesting. Did you know that there's only 2 coaches that have more playoff victories than Coach Golding?
Probably Kirby Smart and goddamn Nick Saban.
It's Nick Saban and Urban Meyer. Yeah. But it's just crazy that this is where we are at with Ole Miss. But that being said, I think Miami is just going to be too tall of a task for them. I love Trinidad Chambliss, but I don't think he's going to fare well against that defense. I am also rolling with Miami there. Now on to Friday night. We have Indiana and Oregon, a rematch from earlier in this season, a game in which Indiana won by 10. in Eugene. James, where are you leaning on this one?
Man, some folks know me, man. You know me as well. I roll with the Tide, and man, they put an ass whipping on the Tide, and I am a little salty about that. Do I want Kirk Signetti, Fernando Mendoza, and this Indiana Hoosiers basketball team that has no 5 stars, no 4 stars, like all 3 stars to win this game? Man, hell no, man. I'm sick of this Cinderella story too. Man, give me Oregon plus 3.5. If there was a 4, I would have bought the half a point. But I'm gonna take the 3.5 just because I do believe in revenge games. I do believe that it is difficult to beat a team twice in I mean, of course, we've seen Oklahoma beat Alabama the first time. Bama was able to beat them the second time. I know that didn't fare out too well for Tulane versus Ole Miss, but that's a different story. But you also seen, look, Ole Miss played Georgia, lost to Georgia in Athens, and then was able to squeak out this win. I think Dan Lanning, of course, I know we've already heard Ryan Clark say Signetti's the new generation Nick Saban whisperer in Indiana, which I'll pump the brakes on just a little bit. But I think Dan Lanning, obviously the better coach. I do think Dante Moore is the better quarterback.
Really?
I don't care who the Heisman is, throwing only 2,900 yards. I think Dante Moore is the guy. And I think this Oregon defense, hey, man, they got embarrassed the first time. Now it's time to strap them up and get ready. And this game is in Atlanta. So, again, no home field advantage for either team. It's both going to be a travel. So, it's going to be rocking at the Benz, this Friday night. But I'm on the side with the Oregon Ducks. The Indiana story's been great. They've been beating teams impressively. Their resume's been impressive with beating Bama, Ohio State. But I will say, give me the Oregon Ducks. I know we joke a lot, 172 uniform combinations and 0 titles. I think Oregon gets through it, and they have the chance to get their first title with
Yep.
those uniforms.
A big problem we have on this channel, James, is we don't argue a whole lot, and I'm in lockstep with you again. I also am taking Oregon, but I'm going to take it a step further than you. I'll say this. I don't agree with you about the Mendoza versus Dante Moore take that you had there, but I'm not going to push back against it too hard because I do think the gap between those two is not very big. And
Right.
I also will say this. I also said something at the very beginning of the season that I'm going to call back on right now. I think Dan Lanning is one of the best coaches in the entire country, if not the best. And I know Kurt Signetti, his story has been amazing, and I love Kurt Sig. And I think the Saban comparisons, just from their personalities, very similar personalities.
Mhm.
But I think the first time these teams met, Oregon was a little bit banged up. They've gotten healthier down the stretch. And I think it's a classic sports saying. It's a classic thing in football. It's hard to beat a team multiple times in one season. They go back to the drawing board, they watch film, and they figure out what they need to do, and they take care of it. And I think on a neutral field, even though that was in Eugene where they lost, I think on a neutral field, I think I'm going to go with Oregon here. But I wouldn't be shocked if Indiana just came out and rolled them because Indiana truly has been the best team in the country all season long compared to the field. And that's the other thing, too. That is the case. But I also think in college football, of all sports, college football is the one where very, very often you get in these situations, especially in this new playoff format, the best team does not always end up winning. Like, I'm sorry, I still don't think that last year's Ohio State team was the best team in the country. I think they got hot at the right time. They won the Natty. They are the champions. So by that logic, yes, they're the best team. But on paper, I don't think they were really the best team. I think this year's Indiana teams are going to suffer the same fate. I think Oregon gets it done, and we have Oregon and Miami in the Natty on the 19th. But y'all let us know in the comments who you got on Thursday and Friday in the college football semifinals. And again, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to Big Game Energy, and we're going to be doing a watch-along for the Natty on the 19th, and we'll see you then.